morning all. My name is B. Santhosh Kumar, Assistant Professor, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. My subject is Computer Architecture. Today I am discussing about basic computer organization. So, in that basic computer organization, the architecture of a computer system can be considered as a catalog of tools or attributes that are visible to the user, such as instruction set, number of bits used for data, addressing techniques, etc. So, whereas organization of a computer system defines the way of the system is structured so that all those catalogs tools can be used. So, the significant components of a computer organization is there: ALU, CPU, and memory organizations are there. So in the general terms, architecture and organization are the two different rules are there. So always user can know high level language. Computer can know machine language. So high level languages are converting into the machine language. How we are converting means we need some instructions, okay, and we need some data. So data is always using in the data bits, okay, it is using in the bits per used of the data, okay, data per bit. So the architecture of a computer system catalog considered as a catalog of tools, attributes that are visible to the user, such as instruction set of the number of bits used for data, addressing techniques, etc. So the organization of a computer system defines the way of the system is structured so that all those catalogs tools can be used. So how we are using the computer system with the converting from high level language into the machine language or machine language to the high level language. Okay, so architecture, computer architecture and computer organization are the major roles are there in the computer system. The significant components of a computer organization are ALU, CPU, memory and memory organization. So in this I am taking a ALU, arithmetic logic unit. Central processing unit. So arithmetic logic unit and central processing unit are the major roles are there in the computer system, and the memory is also there in the memory organization. So I'm taking one example. In the computer system we need CPU, memory and input output we need. So input outputs are nothing but a keyboard, mouse. Outputs are the printers, okay. So these are the outputs are there. So we are calling as these are the peripherals. These are called peripheral devices. So in the CPU, what are that means? Memory unit, control unit, and arithmetic logic unit. So that these are the three sub modules are there. So CPU is the heart of the computer system. Okay, it is the heart of the computer system. So in the computer system, what are the major roles means? Input, output, CPU, and memory unit. So control unit is nothing but it will be controlling the input outputs and the CPU. Okay, input outputs and the CPU. So input outputs means keyboard, mouse are the major roles are there in the CPU. In the CPU, we are connecting input outputs, and the keyboard, mouse are the peripheral devices connecting the input, and the printer, speakers are the peripheral devices of the outputs are connected to the output device. Okay, it is also called peripherals. In the CPU, memory unit means RAM and ROM and primary and secondary memory. Control unit means controlling the all the input outputs and CPU. Arithmetic logic units means it is performing arithmetic operations and logical operations. Okay, it is about the block diagram of a basic computer system. So when we are going to the CPU, in that CPU, ALU, CU and memory unit are there. So I am connecting to this as a inputs and outputs. So these are the peripheral. So these are the peripheral devices are there. So CPU, ALU and CU control unit and memory unit are there. So it is for arithmetic control unit and memory unit is there. So memory unit is nothing but we are using for the memory unit is a primary memory, secondary memory. So primary memory and secondary memories are the two are there connected to the memory unit, and the control unit is means between the CPU input and output are the control unit is there, and arithmetic logic means performing arithmetic and logical operations. So memory unit is the primary memory and secondary memory which are connected to the RAM and ROM are there. So in that control unit it is controlling, and arithmetic logic unit means performing arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, etc. So in the logical operations and or gates, etc. So these are the logic operations. Main memory is a primary memory. Auxiliary storage is a secondary memory. So these primary memory and the secondary memory are connected. So in this primary memory, I am calling as a main memory, and the secondary memory is a auxiliary storage. So it is externally connected. Okay, it is the peripheral connected to the main memory. So input outputs are also called peripheral devices are there. So input outputs are the peripheral connected to the CPU. So in the auxiliary storage, the main memory are also connected. Auxiliary storage is a secondary memory is connected to the main memory to the with the including of CPU, central processing unit. So in that auxiliary storage, in the main memory we have what are the memories are there in the main memory? We have RAM and ROM also there. So what are the types of RAMs and ROMs we'll discuss, and it is about the block diagram of a computer system. And we are going to talking about CPU. Already we know that how many are there CPU, ALU, CU and MU, memory unit are there. So arithmetic logic unit, control unit and memory unit. So keyboard and mouse are the peripherals, monitor and printer. These are also called peripherals. Okay, so it is a block diagram of CPU, central processing unit. Already we know that the arithmetic logic unit means we are using for arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic operations means addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So logical operation means AND gate, OR gate, NAND and OR gates are there. And control unit means it will be controlling arithmetic unit and logical unit and memory unit. And CPU is the interfacing between the inputs and outputs. Okay, in the memory unit there is a RAM and ROM is there, and the primary and secondary memory also connected to the memory unit. So CPU is the main role or heart of the computer system. So in order to achieve the complete understanding of computer system, it is always important to consider both hardware and software design of various computer components. In other words, every functionality of the computer has to be studied to increase the performance of the computer. So computer organization and architecture mainly focuses on various parts of the computer in order to reduce the execution time of the program to improve the performance of each part. So generally, we can think computer organization and computer architecture as same, but there is a slight difference is there. So we can achieve the complete understanding of computer system. How we are achieving means computer is a combination of hardware and software design, and we are various computer components also they are included in the computer system, and every functionality of the computer has to be studied to increase the performance of the computer. So what is the main thing is to increase the performance of a computer, and the organization and architecture mainly focuses on various parts of the computer to reduce the execution time. Okay, so performance, to increase the performance time, and to improve the performance time, and to reduce the execution time. So we can improve the performance and we can decrease the execution time. So that is a computer system. Okay, it is a good computer system. So it is focuses on various parts of the computer to reduce the execution time and improve the performance of each part. So that is the main thing. And the computer organization and the computer architecture are same, but there is slight difference is there. Both are using in computer system, but slight differences are there. What are the differences we can see here? So computer organization is study of the system from software point of view and gives overall description of the system and working principles without going into much detail. In other words, it is mainly about the programmers or users point of view. Computer architecture is study of the system from hardware point of view and emphasis on how the system is implemented, basically through slide on the designer's point of view. So organization and architecture. So in that organization, it is about the software point of view. Suppose I'm connecting one printer to the computer system. So this printer is a hardware, but if it will be work, how it will be work? I need some drivers to install drivers to the system, then only it will be work. So these drivers who will help, these drivers are helping by the computer organization. This printer is a hardware, it is nothing but a architecture. So organization means it will be organizing all the devices. So how many devices are there? Suppose I have so many inputs are there, so many outputs are there, so many memory units are there. How we are organizing all those things. But architecture means how we are designing. Designing means architecture. Organizing means organization. So architecture means we are designing hardware point of view. The emphasis how the system is implemented through the light of the designer's point of view. So it is the major differences of computer organization and architecture. So what are the differences, major differences of computer architecture and computer organization? So computer architecture is concerned with the way of hardware components are connected together to form a computer system. Organization means it is concerned with the structure and behavior of a computer system as seen by the user. So architecture is concerned with the way of hardware components are connected together to form a computer system. Okay, hardware is connected to that one. Computer organization connection with the structure and behavior of the computer system. So organization means it is the behavior of that one. Okay, so software point of view, and it is interfacing between the hardware and the software. We need hardware and software, we need this one. It is deals with the components of a connection in a system. Okay, what are the components I need for this one. So when I'm talking about the components, it is nothing but a hardware. Okay, architecture means hardware point of view. So these components are related to the software. Okay, so interfacing between the hardware and software, computer architecture helps us to understand the functionality of a system. So organization tells exactly of the units in the system and organizing the interconnections of that one. Okay, so it will understanding the functionality of a system. Architecture means if computer system, what is the functionality. Okay, and organization means how exactly the units in the system are arranged or interconnected, interconnections of the organization. And the functionality is a architecture, interconnections are the organization. And a programmer can view architecture in terms of instructions, addressing modes and registers, whereas organization expresses a realization of a architecture. Okay, architecture is nothing but a programmer can view architecture in terms of instructions, addressing modes and registers. Okay, so are you using high level language or which language you are using? So for that one, I need architecture. For instructions, addressing modes and registers I need. Okay, for organization, and I need a realization of a architecture of this one. So while designing a computer system, architecture is concerned first, and organization is done in the basis of architecture. Okay, so computer architecture deals with high level designing. Okay, computer architecture deals with low level designing. Okay, high level designings are architecture, low level designings are organizations. And architecture involves logic, instruction set, addressing mode, data types, and cache optimization. So what are the involvement of architecture means? Instruction set, addressing mode, data type, cache optimization. Organization involves physical components of the circuit design, addressing signals. Okay, physical components are using in that one. Okay, hardware, circuits, design, addressing signals are the organization. Architecture means addressing modes, data types, and cache optimization of the architecture. So these are the differences of computer architecture and organization. ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, was the first computer system designed in early 1940. It is consisting of 18,000 buzzing electronic switches called vacuum tubes, 42 panels each of 9 inches, 2 inches, 1 inches. It is organized as U-shaped around the perimeter of a room with the forced cooling. And electronic numerical integrator computers are the basic computer system. And Atlas of Berry computer ABC designed was known as the first digital electronic computer through not programmable. It was designed by John Mazint, and 1941 German inventor Conrad. It was the first working programmable fully automatic computer machine. And transistors were invented in 1947 at Bell Laboratories. In the computer system, transistors are used. When means 1947, Bell Laboratories. And Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce invented integrated circuits. Okay, advanced version of transistors as the integrated circuits in 1959. And in 1968, the Intel Electronic Company, which is still in the global market leaders of IC manufacturing, research and development. And in 1983, Lisa was launched as the first personal computer with a graphical user interfacing GUI. It was sold commercially and ran on the Motorola 68000 dual floppy disk drive, 5 MB hard drive, and had 1 MB of the RAM. Okay, it is a combination of RAM and ROM is there, and RAM is the 1 MB, and ROM hard drive is there, 5 MB of hardware is there. Okay, it is now launched in 1983. In 1990, Apple released the portable heavyweight 7.3 kg of expensive computer system, and discontinued only in the 2 years later. Why? Because due to some heavy weightage and low compatibility. In the 1990, Intel introduced the Delta supercomputer, which had 512 microprocessors. Okay, and the computer hardware consists of electronic circuits, displays, magnetic and optical storage media, and also communication facilities. Okay, what are the computer hardware means? Electronic circuits means transistors and integrators ICs and displays, magnetic and optical storage, media, and also the communication facilities. Functional units are a part of a CPU that performs the operations and calculations called for the computer program. And what are the functional units of a computer system? Are parts of the CPU, central processing unit, that performs the operations and calculations called with the computer program. Okay, so always in the CPU, what are the performance operations are there by performed as a computer program. A computer consists of five main components, namely input, central processing unit, memory unit, logical unit, control unit, and output unit. Okay, already in discussed a computer system. So mainly CPU, input output, ALU, and memory. So a computer system consists of five main components of their input unit, CPU, central processing unit, and memory unit, and arithmetic logic unit, and control unit, and outputs are there. Okay, so input output, CPU, ALU, and MU are the major five components are there, and it is a basic computer organization process. First one I'm going for the central. First one I'm giving the programming and data input for that one. Okay, so this program or data is connected to the input unit. Then input unit is accepting the what are the programs or data it will be accepting in the input data. After then storage unit means it will be storing the input data, and the output unit means it will be output of that one. So in the storage unit, so what are the outputs are there? So in the storage unit, arithmetic logic units are there, and the control unit is there. Already we know that what are the control unit is there. In the control unit, it will be controlling all the input output operation, input outputs, and the CPU in the control unit. So arithmetic logic units, arithmetic and logic operations can be performed through the input of the data. So what are the input data I am giving? Suppose I am giving A equal to 5, B equal to 3. So what I need? Suppose I need A plus B equal to 8. So these are the inputs are there. Yes, it is the input, and 8 is the output. So when I am getting the output of this one, definitely I need input with combination of ALU. So this input data is combined with arithmetic logic units of the control unit is there, and it is a central processing unit. So it is a storage unit. It is also nothing but a memory unit. So what are the results are there? So in the input unit I am taking, suppose I am giving camera is a input. Suppose, so process is a computer is a process, and what is output means printer. Okay, so input is a camera and output is a some image. Okay, I captured one image through the camera. Okay, input is a captured image, output is a printer. Okay, printer is a output. So what are the devices? Input device is a camera, digital camera, and output is a printer is a output. So processor is in between the it is running in between the input and output. It is a mediator in between the input and outputs are there. So it is about the computer system. So in the programming data, the input unit is there, output unit is there, and results will be generated. But for the input and between the input and output, what I need? Control unit, arithmetic logic unit, and CPU will be running in between the input and output. And the storage unit is nothing but a memory is using for storing the input data, passing to the output. And what are the results are there? It will be showing. Okay, in the input and it is I'm considering as a analog. Okay, so it is a processor is converting to the analog to digital or digital to analog. So output is a image. Image is also an analog data is there. So here in that it is a digital data is there. So analog is converted to the digital. Here digital is converted to the analog unit. So my camera is a analog and printer is also analog. So computer is accepting analog to digital and digital to analog. It is about the basic computer system with input and output processing. Okay, so here what is the inputs are there? So here keyboard, numerical keypad, and pointing device means mouse, remote control, joystick, touchscreen, scanner, graphical tablet, microphone, and digital camera, webcams, light pens. These are some etc. Are the input devices are there. Input units are used by the computer to read the data. The most commonly used input devices are keyboard, mouse, joystick, trackball, microphones, etc. However, the most well-known input devices is a keyboard. Whenever a key is pressed, the corresponding letter or digit is automatically translated into its corresponding binary code and transmitted over a cable to either the memory or the processor. It is about the input. So keyboard, mouse, joystick, trackballs, microphones, etc. are the inputs are there. However, the most well-known input devices is a keyboard. Wherever a key is pressed, the corresponding letter to digit automatically translated to its corresponding binary code to the transmitting over a cable, either the memory of the processor. Okay, input is connected to the CPU and the CPU is connected to the output. Between the input and output, the CPU is the major role of this. There are so many input output peripherals are there. Okay, these are the sample some sample inputs devices are connected. We are showing here, and the central processing unit. So central processing unit commonly known as CPU and can be referred to as a electronic circuitry within a computer that carries out the instructions given by a computer program by performing the basic arithmetic logical control and by performing the basic arithmetic logical control and input output operations specified by the instructions. So CPU is it in between the input and output. So CPU commonly known as a central processing unit commonly known as a CPU, and it is referred as electronic circuitry within a computer that carries out the instructions given by a computer program by performing the basic logical and controlling and input output operations specified by the instructions. Already is shown here. Okay, CPU is performing input output arithmetic and logical operations. And whatever the outputs are there. So monitor is one type of output, printer, speakers, headsets, projector, plotters, these are some etc. are the output devices. So the primary function of the output unit is to send the processed results to the user. Output devices display information in a way that the user can understand. Output devices are pieces of equipment that are used to generate information or any other response processed by the computer. These devices display information that has been held or generated within a computer. The most common example of a output device is a monitor is there. So output units are also a peripheral devices which are connected to the CPU. So these are the results about the outputs, and the display information of the users can be understand. So it is a results of the inputs, and output devices are the pieces of equipment that are used to generate information and responding processed by the computer. These devices display information that has been generated with a computer, and the most common example of an output device is a monitor. Monitor is a output. So when I'm going for the CPU, input operation and performing output operations. How the CPU is performing ALU, with the help of ALU, input and output will be performed. Okay, it is the interconnections of ALU. ALU is the input and output operations are performing by CPU. Okay, these are the about the references. So today we discussed the general architecture of a computer system, and what are the instruction set, what are the addressing modes are there, and what is the architecture and what is the organization, and how we are converting high level language to the machine language with the help of instruction set and addressing bits and data bits. And it is about the CPU. CPU is a combination of memory unit, control unit, and arithmetic logic operations, and it is a input and output is there, and input and output is connected to the CPU. Okay, and these are the peripherals also are called. Here in the block diagram, auxiliary memory is the peripheral memory is connected to the main memory. Okay, so it is a secondary memory. Auxiliary storage is secondary memory, main memory is a primary memory, which are connected to the CPU. Okay, and it is a CPU. It is a major role or a heart of the computer, and the arithmetic and logical unit or logical operations are performed in that, and the control unit and memory unit are performed. So input output are the keyboard and mouse, and outputs are the monitors and printers are there. So the central processing unit is the arithmetic logical unit, and the control unit and the memory unit are performed here. Input output are the keyboard and mouse, outputs are the monitor and the printers are there. So to understanding the computer system, the important of the hardware and software design is the various components of there. So we have to improve the performance, and we are decreasing the execution time with the computer system, and it is the performance or improvement of the computer. And the computer organization and the computer architecture are the both are same, but slight differences are there. So organization is a study of software point of view, gives the overall description of the system and working principles without going into much detail. So it is the mainly of the programmer's point of view, and it is a study of the system of hardware point of view, and how the system is implemented through the light of the designer's point of view. And these are the some differences of computer architecture and organization. So these are the first launch of computer systems in 1940. After then, some small modifications in 1941, and the transistors are used in 1947, and integrated circuits are used in 1959. In 1968, the IC manufacturing research development is there. In 1983, interfacing, graphical interfacing, GUI is launched in 1983, and in 1990, Apple released the portable heavyweight 7.3 kg expensive, and 1990 Intel introduced Touchstone Delta supercomputer system, and the computer hardware consists of electronic circuits, displays, magnetic and optical storage, and communication facilities are there. And what are the functional units of there in the computer system is CPU. It performs the operations and calculations of the computer program, and it is consist of 5 main components of their input output, CPU, and logical arithmetic and logical operations. And it is a performance of input output, ALU and CPU, and input to output, and the processor is a major role to converting from input to output. Okay, it is working as an input to output, analog to digital, and digital to analog is there. And these are the input devices, and it is the CPU. It is using for arithmetic logical operations and input output combination and outputs. These are the output devices which are connected to the CPU. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.